Okay, so before we get going, two things of note. Thing one, I haven't made it to Shazam yet. I know, a bunch of you are thinking, but Kevin, it's a comic book movie. Kevin, it's an amazing comic book movie. I know, and I really want to see it. It's just, it's been awkward for me for the past few days, so I haven't been able to get out to the movies yet. But when I do see it, I will talk about it, because I am super excited and really want to get to go see it. Thing two, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 Rewrite Part 3 is not here yet. I'm sorry for that, but there's been a bit of a delay. And I don't want to give too much away because I think the reveal will be really cool when it happens. There's a good reason it's been delayed further, and I think you're all going to like it. I think when Part 3 does go up, it's going to have something very different to it, and I think it's all going to be worth it. And yeah, I'm going to start trying new things and experimenting a bit more with some stuff, and I think ultimately it's going to be for the better. As I definitely try and take on more ambitious projects. But just be patient. I want to try and make the best thing I can make, and when that comes along, I hope you're all gonna really like it. So then, next thing, Lion King trailer 2. I'm not going to bash this trailer. I do not want to really turn this into a big discussion about how I've hated all of these live-action Disney remakes. I don't want to turn this into the upteenth discussion online about how this is bad and a bad sign for movies and big-budget movies and Disney movies as a whole, that Disney is putting so much effort into doing these live-action remakes that, as much as they claim they're different and they're the adult versions of their classic fairy tales, very clearly are just cold, calculated, marketing department derived cash-ins for a bunch of dumb tweens to young adults who feel like, oh, this cartoon is for babies, I want the version that is for me, who thinks they're an adult that knows how the whole world works. I don't really want to do that. I don't. I could do that, and a part of me wants to do that, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to ask a very simple question to everyone who's excited for this Lion King remake. And if you're excited for it, that's fine. That's great. You should be excited for movies. And there is, I guess, reason to be excited. And if you are, I want to know why. This isn't me trying to make fun of anyone who's interested in this movie. This isn't something I want to turn into a bash fest of anyone who's liking this movie. I genuinely want to know what seems appealing about this, because as of right now, I'm really struggling to see any point to this. Are you excited about the animation, the CGI? Because the photorealistic animals look really fucking boring, because the fun of a cartoon is watching cartoons do stuff like emote and be expressive and have fun designs. Here they just look like animals. Like, I can go to the zoo and watch animals do tons of stuff. Play with balls, eat foods, fuck. Oh, you can watch a lot of fucking. Trust me, go to the Bronx Zoo when it's mating season and there's a Catholic school there. You will see nuns pray for salvation. Anyways, what are you looking forward to? I mean, if it's the all-star cast, which, I mean, this is a fucking amazing cast. Yeah, that's one thing. You're looking forward to the music because it looks exactly like the sounds exactly like the music to the old movie. Are you looking to what Disney could do different? Because based on the other remakes they've done and based on the trailers for this, I don't see anything different. I know they claim they will, but I've just got nothing. Like, there's just nothing about this that seems appealing, but people seem excited. I mean, no one went to go see Dumbo, apparently, and it's pretty fucking horrible. And Aladdin seems pretty split down the middle. But a lot of people seem interested in this Lion King remake, and if you are, again, that's fine. Just tell me why, because I am 100%, unironically, legitimately curious to see why people are looking forward to a remake of a movie in their lifetime that is hailed as one of the greatest movies of all time, and one of the biggest examples people use when they want to explain why animation should be taken seriously as an art form, and it seems like it's basically just being shit on by saying this is the version for adults now. This is the non-fun, not very colorful, not very interesting looking version. So tell me that below. Anyway, so let's move on. We're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains episode. Who fucking cares they used Mind Crush? Oh god, they played Mind Crush. Revolver used Mind Crush. He's the greatest character ever because he used fucking Mind Crush. Oh, this was great. It's also ironic they used it after Mind Crush got nerfed. But that was awesome. Meta cards for the win. Other than that, though, I actually think Mind Crush was integrated into the story very well and is a good springboard into the discussion of what is the core fascinating point of this episode, and that being Lightning's breakdown, Lightning's deconstruction, Lightning's basically having his ego popped and really being brought down to a lower level. I talked about this a bit last week, but Lightning views himself as such a godlike, omnipotent being. He may admit he has faults, and that's why he created the perfect being in the form of Bowman, but as we learned last week, Lightning not only is weaker than he thought, but is actually potentially more destructive and has the potential to do more harm than good than we thought. And what's sort of clever is that they show off that in trying to prove he isn't that, in trying to be better than his programming, want to prove he's more than just destructive, he's actually gone and just been that. Like, that's what's kind of the twisted poeticness of this whole thing that I actually really like, is that Lightning's whole thing to all of this, like, his whole goal was basically to reject his programming and prove he was better. He wanted to make the Ignises stronger, he wanted to enslave humanity, to put them on a positive direction for our planet as a whole, but all he's been able to do is cause more harm and hurt those close to him and alienate those who care about him. Like, he's led, indirectly in some ways, to the destruction of all the other Ignises. He's led to a situation where humanity is now in a bad spot again, and all just to protect his own ego, as Revolver basically goes and soothes his. The way they use hubris in this, I think, is a real clever metaphor and really interesting to watch. And also, everything with Windy, like, that was also freaking fantastic. I loved that. Yugioh so often uses mind control as just sort of a means to an end, and it kind of takes away the scariness of the idea of someone having the building blocks of their personality messed with. But that whole sort of idea that everything with Windy, him becoming this, him becoming a villain, was completely avoidable, but because of Lightning, that's what turned him into him. And I like that they play it up that, oh my god, Lightning once again did something even worse. And what's sort of great is the way it's played off Revolver's own hubris, because Revolver then uses that as a segue into his speech about why the AIs are so much weaker than humans and why humans should still be on top. And the thing is, normally a speech like that about the value of humanity should have me going, yeah, go! When Revolver does it, I'm like, please stop, you're scaring me. Like, this is the advantage of a character with Revolver. That big, booming voice, that aggressive personality, and the fact that we know him as such a powerful and intimidating character. When he gives that speech about why humanity is important, I almost feel more sorry for the Ignises. Because in that moment, when he reveals that Lightning was able to mess with Windy's programming, it takes away this core idea that the Ignises are people, that they are individuals with thoughts and feelings, when here we're reminded they're so fragile that they can just have their programming messed with and basically be made into new people. It makes them feel small. It makes them feel victimized. It really makes you feel sorry for them and puts you on Eyes and Flames and Aqua's and Earth's side. It's a nice, clever way to do it while always maintaining Lightning's twistedness and Lightning's insanity. And it's played up even further with the Mind Crush turn. First up, the whole thing where he goes Mind Crush and you see Lightning holding his head as he's got sparks coming out of it, as basically sort of a way of showing how all this is really getting to him mentally. That's actually a really nice thing, and I actually appreciated it quite a bit. But then Lightning gets Judgment Arrows back. And the reason this is important is because, as Yusaku said, he had to give up a lot of resources. Maybe there was a better play to make in that moment. Maybe he had access to a better monster. Or if you're me and you've put a lot of effort into your Borreload dragon, maybe someone will just Borreload your Borreload dragon. I am salty from many a losses. Anyways, but no, this is, fuck, I lost my train of thought. But oh yeah, now I remember. Anyways, so Lightning, he is so desperate to maintain Judgment Arrows. Judgment Arrows is the thing that Lightning views as the symbol of his power, the symbol of his strength. The thing he created is Judgment Arrows. It's the sort of way he can believe he can rule over humanity, hence term Judgment. And it's also like his belief that he's truly moved it forward, hence the arrows and the idea that it makes it more easier to get more Link monsters out. So seeing how desperately he wants it, how desperately he needs that to show off he's better than Revolver, and that he's basically willing to give up all his resources in a one Hail Mary play using that particular card is a very clever, very nice way to show off just how desperate he truly is. And I can't wait to see where this all goes next week, because this looks like it's getting really interesting and really intense. But tell me what you thought about this episode below and everything associated with it, because I'm digging what I'm seeing. Anyways, TCG question of the week. Let's get into the controversy with mind control that's popped up. First up, in that article where Konami gave us 3 new rules that nobody asked for, gotta appreciate the whole you have to be clean. Most of the time when I go to big events, mostly everyone is nice, civilized, easy to be around, but I've heard the horror stories from when they aren't. So I think it is important, especially because the Yu-Gi-Oh community is still sort of viewed as kind of these weird people who have women issues. That's still a thing, and hopefully if we're a little more responsible and trying to kind of put more effort into keeping our community valid, I think that's a good sign. The thing, though, that is very controversial is that in the event you activate a card like Mind Crush that requires your opponent to discard a card from their hand, they do not show you the hand. You cannot confirm that there are other copies of that card in their hand, and thus they can just claim, oh no, I only had one, and then going into the next turn, if they make it, they can then use that card again and just claim it was the card they drew per turn. This is bad. After Konami's many positive PR moves they've been making, they throw this shit at us. It's bad because it sort of goes back to the idea that Konami doesn't really think about anything. They just kind of go based on what the chart says, and the chart says we don't want people wasting time reading every card in their opponent's hand, so they just can't do it. Well, again, this goes on the belief that your opponent will do the right thing and discard the extra copies of the card from their hand. You can't trust your opponent to do the right thing, and I shouldn't have to. So that is mostly all I have to say about that. In reality, though, I don't think this is going to come up much, as mind control is considered more of a niche choice at best right now. And also, typically, when you mind control and they have to discard that card, you're probably just going for the OTK next turn anyways. So I don't think ultimately it'll pop up much, but I do think it's a bad idea that they did this. But tell me what you think about that below. And also the other one was like, you can't check if they claim they have no targets after declaring a search or whatever. That never came up anyways. So yeah, tell me about that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week for more of Raging Against the Machine. Haha, get it?